So this is one thing that kind of tends to bug me a little bit because I feel like everyone's go-to for describing a fan they don't like is a bandwagon fan.
Yeah.
So the question is, what's the difference between a front runner, a fair weather fan, and a bandwagon fan? And I have a strong opinion about this.
Because you're half of them, or two-thirds of them? No,
See, I really, really despise being called a bandwagon fan because in my mind, a bandwagon fan is someone who just sees something shiny that they've never been associated with before and jumps on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
So, like, if someone has never been a Seahawks fan before and they just jump on board when the Seahawks become really good, then that's a bandwagon fan.
Yeah.
To me, people use that to describe a fair weather fan a lot because most of the people who were being, bullied by Seahawks faithful if you go back to like 2012 or whenever the Seahawks got really good, and all of a sudden everybody was a fan, most of those people were not jumping on the bandwagon. Most of those people were just not very good or loyal fans, and then the team got good again, so they joined back in the celebration. So to me, that's a fair weather fan. And a front runner is just somebody who roots for whatever teams are good, which is that is the worst kind of anything. To just like be like an 8-year-old who's like, well, I don't want to be sad at the end of the game, so I'm just going to root for which team I think is going to win, and then I'll change in the middle if the other team's winning. Blah blah blah. So
or during a season. I like this team. This is my favorite team. They lost. This other team's now my favorite team. This team's really good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So to me, the interesting part about this is
that was fair weather, right?
No, that's front runner.
That's a front runner.
Oh no, front runner is different.
Tell me
what's front runner.
In my opinion, front runner is being big and all about the team that when they're doing good. Like, but you're always like a fan of that team.
You've
but
got
you only
front runner and fair weather confused.
Really?
Yeah.
Front
runner is guys that are people that always just root for the people that are winning. Like they don't want to root for losers.
People who live here but
Gotcha.
are Yankees fans and Patriots fans.
Yes.
And Tar Heels fans.
Yes.
I'm
They're the worst.
Lakers fans.
I feel like this is becoming a personal attack.
Yeah.
So, because the interesting thing to me is that as much as everyone wants to just bash on the fair weather fan, and generally call them bandwagon fans, even though that's wrong.
So,
because
people want to bash on fair weather fans, but you need fair weather fans,
right? Because
that's the only thing that incentivizes your team to be good monetarily. You make so much more money as a team when you do well because of fair weather fans. So that's the way
and
that
it's more
ownership
fun
is,
to root for your team when everyone's on board.
Yeah.
So I agree with you there. I am a fair weather baseball fan.
Me too.
In that I pay attention vaguely.
Yeah.
But I don't watch every game. And when they are really good, you better believe I'll watch every game. And I'll be super excited.
It's interesting, though, because you do hear front runners described for players, too.
Front runner is a type of... Front runner is both... You could be a fair weather fan or a bandwagon fan and be a front runner. Front runner is more like, to me, front runner is like, you're just... You're only... You can't handle losing. Like, you don't know how to lose with class. You just switch teams. You're like, I'm always going to be a Patriots fan, and the Patriots are going to stink in a few years, and those front runner fans are going to be a different fan. Like, they're going to be probably Chiefs fans.
I think that front runners also are loud when their team's good.
Yes, they're really
Yankees
quiet
fan
that
when
talks
they're not
mad
good.
Trash.
Yeah, but we're silent for that 10 years.
Well, they weren't Yankees fans.
No, they were. See, that's the thing. That's why I think as a front runner is they're loud when their team's good, and they are nowhere to be seen. Whereas I feel like fair weather fans are like, yay, this is fun!
See, you're
because fair weather fans aren't aggressive. Front runners, I have more of an aggressive connotation.
But you're talking
fair
about
weather fans can be aggressive.
Daniel, you're talking about a fair weather fan that is a front runner.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you're right that the loud, super proud of being really good is a front runner thing, but the fair weather fan is the fan that just like I'm not rooting for any other baseball team.
Yeah.
I only like the Mariners, but I'm not super into the Mariners until they're good. Or until spring training briefly. So I think you can be a front runner and a fair weather fan, or you could be a front runner and a bandwagon fan. To me, bandwagon, honestly, it doesn't bother me that much because I feel like bandwagon is, to me, more like I was on the Titans bandwagon.
Yeah.
I was like, as soon as my team was out, I was like, heck yeah. So that's to me, that's what bandwagon fans are.
But you can take it to that next level of, I don't know, yeah.
I think to me that the reason why that became such a derogatory term is when the Seahawks became good. And then because the 12th man is probably the single most annoying fan base in the history of all sports that ever existed.
No. Because
hold on.
No, that's not even close.
Disputable.
There's a ton of different annoying fan bases that you are completely ignoring.
Like who?
Pittsburgh
Lakers,
Steelers, Packers, San Francisco,
Philadelphia fans.
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Like that was just off the top of my head.
I'm not defending
Exactly.
Seattle, but there are a lot of really terrible.
Let me
fans.
rephrase.
Boston fans.
May I rephrase? Because the 12th man as a group is an incredibly annoying fan base.
Yep.
Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay.
Especially the 12s.
The 12s, yeah. So the 12s.
Everybody send your hate mail to Justin.
When the Seahawks became good back in 2012 or 13 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Those people started going on Facebook and Twitter, and generally people on the social networks that post about sports are ridiculous anyway. But they're going on those saying, "Wow, where were all these bandwagon fans all the other?" And literally going on and personally attacking people who posted Seahawks things on their timeline.
Just terrible.
Because it's awful. Because then that bandwagon fan became a derogatory term.
So this is the thing though, Justin. I'm not even joking here. I believe that is a good demonstration of how dumb the people are that are super enraged about that, because they're calling people bandwagon fans when they're actually fair weather front runners.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the people that were coming out of the woodwork as Seahawks fans, most of them hadn't been
other fans.
Yeah. They were just all in on the Seahawks right now and didn't know anything about the Seahawks.
Because it's exciting and civic pride, and it's fun that we can all get behind something, and yet it was like, why do you get to have fun when I went through all the misery?
If you didn't know all 53 guys on the roster 10 years ago, then you don't get to be a fan now.
You know what? I watch Mariners games constantly. I listen to Mariners games. You know how upset I'm going to be when they get good? Please, Lord. And all of a sudden everybody gets super excited about it. I'm not going to be upset at all. I'm going to be so jacked up that people don't yell at me for trying to talk about the Mariners. It's going to be great. I'm not going to be like, well, you didn't care before they were good. Who cares?
I have specific people in mind.
What about when they start lecturing you about baseball, Daniel? Is it going to annoy the crap out of you when they start lecturing you about why your baseball take is dumb because they're a huge Mariners fan? Because
that would be
hard. That's the stuff those are the. I agree with Justin that it's dumb. However, there was a segment, and there is a segment of football fans who have really bad opinions, and they want to engage in discussion because you're wearing a Seahawks jersey, and
I just don't engage with.
It's hard.
People.
It's difficult.
I just don't engage in those kind of conversations with normies.
I gotta say that is the hardest part when you are like die hard, know the stats, you put effort into it, and then
somebody comes along.
Again, a fair weather fan. We're not knocking at all.
Yeah.
You guys are fair weather. We've all been fair weather fans.
I'm absolutely a fair weather fan.
I have to work hard to not be a fair weather fan of my Oregon State teams. Like, I have to put effort into, like, all right, I gotta watch this game. It is, and like I said, it is a grind.
Because when does the weather get fair for your Oregon State teams?
I was gonna say, that's not an issue with Cougars, because like we've had like this great streak So I guess actually maybe have we had Fairweather Cougar fans? Will we see them disappear over the next few?
I could
few
see
years?
a few, but
I don't think
Cougar
so.
fans are pretty diehard.
Yeah, I don't think so.
They're a different breed. Especially because normally Cougar fans
on the
normally exactly. Normally Cougar fans are Cougs.
Central Pacific University.
Or you have, if you didn't go to Wazoo yourself, you have some kind of a tie to it.
You have a tie to Wazoo.
Otherwise, why would you be a fan?
That ties
Husky
into
fan,
that other mailbag
like
question
you do see,
It's fine. There's lots of ways to be a fan, and I'm not judging a Husky fan for liking the Huskies
when
just
they're
because they're nearby.
Or they're nearby. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not going to be upset that people are excited. It will be hard if people are like, oh my gosh, did you see this guy's, this, and they say something that's completely wrong. And then I'm like, oh, I don't really think so. And then they try and correct me on it. That would be hard. But thank you for bringing it up now, so hopefully I can have grace for that person. And be like,
this guy's a garbage player. And you're like, but he's actually really good.
350 and he's got 25 bombs.
No.
He K'd at the end of last night's game. And I'll be like, oh my gosh.
It was a backwards K.
All right, so the other mailbag question. That was a fun topic, I feel, by the way. And we did. Wait a second. We can't go through Bandwagon, Fairweather, and Frontrunner without talking about Justin's fandoms.
Can't we?
Well, I just thought it went without saying.
I'm a little bit of all of these.
I would say, in your defense, I think you probably started out as more of a front runner than you are now, because you admittedly picked your teams because they were good, but you've stuck with them.
Yeah,
consistent.
You hopped on the bandwagon, but you never got off.
The teams that you've stuck with.
Thank you.
The thing in the NBA, though, is you didn't hop on a team's bandwagon.
Yeah, I'm on LeBron.
You just hop on the Bron wagon.
Which was a front-runner decision.
The Bron wagon. I love it.
And that was definitely a front-runner decision.
Oh, I'm driving the Bron wagon, bruh.
But, so, I feel like, whereas, for me, when I get upset, when I get emotional, I start attacking your fandoms.
Yeah.
That's what happens. And I
it.
basically go, I didn't get to pick my team, and whoever was just good.
Sucks for you.
Yeah. So you are a bandwagon Lakers fan, but you're a diehard LeBron fan. So, yes, if he leaves the Lakers, you won't be a fan of them anymore. But it's not like it's a whole new world that you're opening up for me because I've never been like that.
Yeah,
before.
but I think that's
because it's wrong, Daniel.
Just specifically,
because it's wrong, and you have never been that wrong before.
Just specifically with the NBA, that's the way that people generally tend to consume it now.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. The other mailbag
you're
question
so young and hip.
Is when is it okay? When is it okay to say "we" when referring to a sports team you're a fan of?
I have a strong opinion about this.
Is it okay for Justin to use "we" when referring to LeBron and the LeBrons?
Well, we did get a big win against the Rockets earlier this week.
We scored 32 points and had 10 rebounds and just shot a couple assists.
Yeah, I'm driving the Bron wagon. I get to take partial credit for that. So when is it okay to use "we" when referring to a sports team you're a fan of? So I'm going to be the guy.
I do find myself accidentally doing it.
I do it accidentally sometimes too, but I think if you were to go back and listen to the record book of this show, you would realize that when I do it, I often immediately correct myself. And I'll say we, the Seahawks.
Yeah.
I'll do that a lot.
I'll try and do that too, but I don't think I'm as good as you as catching myself.
I think there's one time that it's acceptable. I think if it's a college team for the school that you went to, you can say "we."
I can't say "we."
Otherwise, you're not a part of it.
Not for your main team.
You're not a part of it. That they are them and you are you.
Yeah.
I'm also not going to be the guy, and I have a friend in particular who does this to me. Whenever I slip up and say "we," be like, "Really? How many points did you score in that game?"
Hey, sir, whoever that is, I played for a lot of teams I didn't score any points for. So you can get out.
I won't be the one who's correcting anybody, but I might judge you a little bit and think a little bit less of you.
Yeah.
I understand that.
I feel similarly. The only team that I also slip up specifically with the Seahawks because we talk about it so much and get so invested.
When you say we, do you mean us or the Seahawks?
I mean us, the scrimmage. I do slip up sometimes, but I feel even if I don't correct myself, I think I notice it, and I feel kind of I'm like I don't feel comfortable calling myself a Seahawk, and for me it is it's if I played
man.
yeah.
Does that mean I can go on the field?
No.
Yes, but you'll get banned from the stadium. But you can go on the field.
I don't go that often anyway, so would it really be that big a deal?
I don't know.
Get on TV?
That would be pretty exciting. I'm down for you to do that.
Okay.
Just let us know so we can have the cameras rolling.
Be good promo.
But yeah,
for the show.
for me, it's the only teams that I feel comfortable saying have been Cougar teams, and it's because I
feel their salaries.
Yeah, it's because I feel
scholarships.
I feel like I am connected with that organization, and so it's not like
I agree.
That absolutely checks out.
Cougar me.
Yeah, that's a good shirt.
It is. You've got one too.
I do.
Daniel, do you have an opinion on this?
Yeah, I feel very similarly. I feel
Except
like
that he feels like there should be an exception for him.
No. Sadly, I don't.
Okay.
Although I
can respect that though.
I do have strong heritage with Oregon State, so I feel like if I did want to start saying we, like,
I would still give you trash because
Dad, uncle, grandpa, great uncle. There's a building named after my great uncle. I think.
Is it Hargrove?
No, it's Smith.
Yeah,
sadly,
I
know. Hey.
Smith? How do you know it's named after him?
It could be named after anyone. There's thousands of millions of people.
I know. That's the problem. Is it wasn't like some random name. It had to be Smith. Like, come on. Anyway, so
I feel like if you
similarly.
really would have been committed, then you would have moved down to Oregon and established citizenship, living with your uncle or your grandma, and just made the commitment.
Okay,
you're such a fair weather fan. If you were a diehard fan instead of a fair weather fan, you would have done that.
You know
I am joking. I am joking. I
never would have been roommates. And the show never would have happened.
Fair point.
My life would have gone a different direction.
Well, didn't we? We agreed last week that you ended up staying local because you hung out with Andrew in college. Mm-hmm. So if you had done that, would you be on ESPN right now?
Your life would have gone in a different direction.
But also I wouldn't have had the excellent broadcasting education that I had from Washington State. And I would have been like me and two other dudes at Oregon State's communications school. Like, so where is everybody? Oh, they're all in the forestry department? Cool.
I would have a lot bigger or a lot tougher time with your. It does bother me sometimes. I'm like legitimately, especially when we really have a big loss and you don't feel it, and I'm like,
yeah, but just take solace in the fact that my team's terrible.
Well, I was gonna say that's what I mean. Like I do. It would be harder for me to respect it if
I was like a USC fan.
Yeah, even with that history, because I'd be like, it just make me so much more salty.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's not like you picked a front runner team to be a diehard fan of since childhood. So
exactly. Again, it wasn't.
It's been a rough year to be a front runner fan. Okay.
I did not choose my teams; they were chosen for me. Sadly. Which is kind of like that.
Does that make you angry with your parents at all?
It is interesting.
You cursed me with being a Beaver fan.
Personally, I just lean into it because I feel like it's made me an obviously superior person to the front runner fans that pick their own teams.
You know what? You keep dealing with your adversity, buddy, and I'll just keep winning chips.
You will keep winning chips.
Only if LeBron does, right? That's what we agreed. What we agreed was that since I drive the Bandwagon, I get to be a part of his championships accomplishments.
Oh, I think that's enough for today.
Okay.